All right, is there another week, and of course, an awesome week, and it's a beautiful week. Yes, I can see that's beautiful. There's been a whole lot this week, and it happens to be the magic week where a lot of magic will happen. Okay, so welcome on board. Is there another beautiful week, Tuesday on the Nighttime Show? I am Raheem Terrence, and today it's really going to be, a special day. And we have actually made it possible for an awesome show. And I said before, I'm going to make a walk. Let's have to talk about certain things that are troubling me and, of course, troubling a lot of other people. So we've decided that we will talk about certain things, and that certain things have to do with the now generation youths. This generation is Gen Z's. It could be millennials. It could be Gen Z, kind of connected somehow. Talking about, how far they're going to go when it comes to leadership. And that is something that has to do with social, and it's got to do with so many other things connected to you and me. So we will be having a conversation, and I've got too many people that will be on with me. But first of all, I need to ask you guys, how you guys doing? How was your weekend? How did it go with your weekend? Was it awesome? You had a great time. You had a stop somewhere. I don't know, but whatever it is, put your chins up and always hold your head up, because that's the only way you can get to the other side. Maybe it might be better than the other side. So, nothing lasts forever. This is my pep talk for tonight. Nothing lasts forever, but everything sure do going to make things open for you to know exactly what way you're going to go. So stick in there. All right. Okay, without wasting any time, I told you that we're going to talk about certain things. It's talking about the next generation leaders. And when we start talking about the next generation leaders, we meant youths, Gen Zs, or millennial per se, that would lead as captains of industries, that would lead as political, pundit, political office holders, to lead governance. It's not been working. So we are thinking, this next generation, do you think that is really going to work? They're going to be better? It could be that this generation leaders might be better than our heroes past, or maybe better than the ones that are behind us. So we want to talk about it. And, focus on how do they acquire skills? How do our parents doing? Are parents doing well? Are parents actually leading their kids to be the leaders of the next generation, this generation to come? Are parents doing well? Are they doing exactly what they're supposed to do? Are they not doing well? How do you feel if this is really going to work? The next generation in this country, all over. You sure that they will be better? They will do better than the past leaders? So that's what we're going to be talking about. But I'm going to come back to that again. While we try to secure a connection on now we secure a connection to all of the guests that will be with me. I think I was too impromptu in this. Some guests might not be because of their location. These are listeners. These are VOP listeners who was going to be my guest today. I hope that they connect. And if they do, we'll be able to start talking. I want us to be, I don't know. So if Prince Akwachi, if you're there, Prince Akwachi happens to be one of them. Prince or Christian is one of them. Hugo Davis might not be able to hook up. These are glamour, tight, profound listeners who want to be part of the show tonight. And then King Remy from North London. I don't know. Maybe he might not be able to make it. And then, of course, we're also going to have the lady in the house. I think she's the only lady. Mrs. Skinny will be. But the problem is that we will not be able to secure a connection when it comes to Google Meet with some people, but to others who will be able to connect with us, or we'll have them to talk with us and tell us their opinion, their submission when it comes to the topic of tonight, which is, developing the next generation leaders. It's a word that's got pregnancy. This is a topic that have pregnancy. So I'm gonna ask a few questions. So we're gonna have a conversation, and this will be spontaneous, but I will still lead in asking question, but it will be spontaneous also. So before we start talking about that and getting them, I would like to I like to talk about some of their holidays first before. So let's try and see if we can put that on and signal them to join the conversation. Okay. So once again, Mrs. Skinny will be on audio. Prince Akwachi will be from over there. Will join us on Google Meet. And then Christian should be able to join us on Google Meet. And then King Remy should be able to join us on Google Meet too. And we'll be able to talk to this 3 on Google Meet. And then the rest will be able to maybe have a connection with them on the audio. I don't know. So let's talk about this first before we get into the topic of today. Today happens to be the Anti-Obesity Day, and in case you want to learn the history of obesity in the world, please take your time. Possibly take your time and Google and understand exactly what that is. So I mean, this is an awareness for people to get to know what obesity is. It's not good for some people to be obese. It's not good for you to be obese. And that's part of the Africa when you're not too much with height. So a lot of people believe that they will earn respect if they are big or if they add a lot of weight. But obesity is not a good thing. It's not nice. And so we need to look into that. All right, moving along. Today happens to be 26, right? Okay. Is it 27? 26. Okay. 26. So Good Grief Day is today. Today happens to be a Good Grief Day, as the old Charlie Brown saying goes, that be yourself. Nobody can say you're doing it wrong. Just be yourself. Nobody can tell you that you're doing it wrong. So it's a grief day, the Good Grief Day, and this is a day to, mark that. And lastly, today happens to be the International Cake Day. For those of you who love cake lovers, they're giving props to cake. They're giving props to cake. So cake, for me, I've got sweet tooth, but I'm lactose intolerant. So I really do not, I puke whenever I take anything sweet, more especially the ice in there on a cake. It makes me puke. But when it's a chocolate, black chocolate, brown chocolate, a little bitter in the mouth, but kind of like that. and it goes well with some of us. So it is a day that, to activate your sweet tooth, ladies and gentlemen, because it's actually an international cake day. You would need to go get some, yourself some cake. Do what you've got to do, and don't be too much of a sweet tooth kind of person. Shout out to my sweet tooth peeps, but you got to take it easy, okay? And then, we also have the National Law Day, and we'll setting kind of birthdays for a lot of people, but I think I'm just gonna let that be, okay? All right. It's time for us to get to talking or what we are supposed to talk today. Raheem is my name, and you're welcome to your radio talk station. Is Voice of the People Radio 90.3, or as I love to call it, 90.3. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we will establish every of our guests on the show to talk about what we are supposed to talk about today, to have this conversation. If need be, it will be good talking about developing the next generation leaders. Developing the next generation leaders. How do we start to develop? Because of the situation of things, the Gen Z's head is not, is not cool these days. Too many things are happening, some crazy and mad things that, some of our youth are actually pulling through. Would they be able to make it out with all of this best gadgets and tech that can actually help the youth to be the best what they can be, learn all the, professional skills, leadership skills? Is our parents doing well for the children? Are they teaching them well? Are they actually instilling morals that can actually make them to be leaders? So we're going to talk about all these things when we come back from the break. Okay? All right.
If you want to be heard, say it here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. 90.3 FM.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and pressure for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
It's the moment you've been waiting for, and we're bringing it to you live. Don't miss a second. Don't miss a second of the action as we broadcast live from the biggest news stories, hot talk shows, depth analysis from the best in the world. Stay informed and up to date with the best radio programming all day, every day. On your number one People's Radio, Voice of the People, 90.3 FM.
All right, so let's start the show exactly as we have, said we were going to start the show. Okay. All right, so I've got too many people who were supposed to join the show, but then of course I know everybody have their own different busy schedule, and from Cali, from London, from Lagos, from different part of here. And it was just a quick one, kind of like an impromptu, fast move, to talk about this. And I wanted everyone to be part of this. So I'm gonna start by Mrs. Kenny will be on, and also we have Prince Akwachi coming on. We also have Kristen. We have Hugo Davis, fortunate to use Hugo Davis. We have King Remy, and I don't know if King Remy is free, but whoever joins us, we're gonna start talking, and maybe I'll just start to have the lady first, okay, and then she's going. So, well, let's start talking. The topic for tonight is developing a next generation leaders, and you and me know that the next generation leaders are the youths, the millennials, the young ones, okay, and we're asking a question: is some parents, are they doing good? Well, are they doing great in instilling leadership skills in our children that are growing up, the teenagers that will be the leaders of tomorrow? The youths, are they empowered properly? Well, can they be the leaders of tomorrow when the time comes? Well, will they be able to develop a strong skill for leadership? Is it going to be better than what we've known? Because, of course, we know that our leaders and even the past ones have failed us. They have failed us woefully. So we are asking a question. This is a talk station now. We want to have this conversation and with the guest in the house. So I'm preparing the ground so when they come in, they know exactly what they'll have to talk about. We're just going to have a round table, no matter where they are, to discourse. You can bring your A game, and maybe much later, we might be able to open the phone lines and hear from certain other people. But it's literally a talk night. We just want to have conversations and different perspectives. The perspective, the American perspective, the British perspective. That's why I want King Remy to be around. He represents the British, and then I want Prince Akwachi. He represents the American. However, he can also represent any part of the world, including Nigeria, where he came from. And then some of us here, whatever perspective you want to throw in, just be free and throw in. How do you cultivate the next generation leaders? How do we cultivate them? Why is it so important to develop the next generation leaders? Is the Gen Zs doing well? Are we ever seeing the future of good leadership in the Gen Zs or the millennials? Are we seeing generation leaders in the youth? Do we think that the youth can take over? I'm not talking about take over government. No, I'm saying generally, can our leaders, which is the thing inside, that thing that is inside the youth, can they do better than our past leaders? Because, of course, they failed us. The leaders of today, of yesterday, and, most of them failed us. This is my perspective. So whatever perspective you're going to bring in, I want to have my first guest before we start taking others when they join in. It's going past, this woman is going past 10 o'clock. So we're going to keep it real. It's just a talk radio station. We want to have a conversation and have different perspectives concerning this topic of tonight, which is developing the next generation leaders. How do we do all of this? Is our parents doing well? Are the parents of the next generation leaders doing well? Are they even instilling? Because I can see a lot of bad attitude with the Gen Zs, including the millennials. I can actually see a lot of bad attitude problem, misgiving, too many things, some awkwardness, some waywardness, so many other things that, I'm looking for the best word that is well crafted that I can add. I don't want to say too much of nasty things, but then are they doing well? Will they be able to do better as the generation leaders, the next leaders? Will they be able to take over? And when they take over, will they be able to do better? How do we start? What are they doing wrong? What is the disadvantages of the attitude of these young ones? What are the advantage of tech that could be a blessing to the young ones that they can take advantage of? We're just gonna go around the table. Whatever you come with is okay. So we'll start by I'll start by talking to Mrs. Kenny. So Mrs. Kenny is our guest. Mr. Prince Akwachi is also a guest. King Remy from North London is still our guest. And then Christian Hugo Davis also is there. Well, let me start with our first guest. Welcome on the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome on the show once again, Mrs. Kenny.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr.
Yes,
Kenny.
nice
Good evening to you. So, I know that you would not be able to, certain reason, the Google Meets will not be good. So we're gonna have you. It's going to be the terrestrial people will be the one to enjoy your voice and enjoy your inputs today. The people from out there online will not be able to see you, but the others who will join will be able to be the one to connect and with those who were watching streaming. Okay. So today we're talking about developing the next generation leaders. And first of all, let's start by you say charity begins at home. Let's go down and talk about if our parents are doing good in instilling this leadership skills and roles on the young ones as they grow up. Because for me, I'm seeing too many nasty things going on. I'm seeing parents are not doing too good. And some people are actually blaming and putting the blame on the situation of the government, the system, the political brouhaha in certain areas in Nigeria, for example. What is your take on this?
Yes, this is a very good question, and it's kind of complex in a little bit. But
Okay.
let me come to something.
Okay, Mrs. Kenny, your voice is not very clear, very well. So, can you change the way your position?
Absolutely. Okay, I'll do that.
Change your position.
Is this better now?
All right, let's go. I think so.
All right, wonderful. So what I'm saying is that, number one, I think we should go back to the basics. I think we've become too nuclear family focused because in the good old days, they say that it takes a village to bring us down. Do you know that adage?
Mm-mm.
Okay, there's a reason for that.
I know.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
I know.
Because, it's like, there's so many eyes, that can be on children to help bring children up. A parent cannot be everywhere at the same time. Yes, the primary responsibility or the primary people that are responsible for a child are the direct parents, whether it be biological or not biological. Just wanted to put that out there. So I would say There's so many factors that can impact on bringing up of children. So it can be social, economical factors. It can be, whatever is going on in the house in terms of relationships that they currently have in the home. It could also be the level of exposure. It could be different things. It could even be religious. The different factors that come to play when it comes to, bringing up a child. But I wouldn't want to go straight into this. I think the first step we need to take in terms of preparing the children, the future, the youth for the future, is to actually do an assessment of where they are right here and now. I'll tell you honestly speaking, it's not all Gen Zs that are self-centered. There's some Gen Zs that are actually well-balanced.
Okay.
And that comes from the fact that, the parents had some, contribution towards it. Community has some contribution to it. Christianity or religion has some contribution to it. Relationship, contribution towards it, as
All right.
well as exposure.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. My children as an example. Okay, coming back from America, when my sons were, admitted into the school that we got them admitted into, the older one was admitted into SS2. He was 13 years old. And the younger one, because they couldn't just take him into SS1, even though he's just 1 year younger than his brother, they said, that they couldn't just do that because of his age, and, they just gave us a lot of reasons. So he was admitted into JS3. So that year that my first son, I'm sorry, let me take it back a little bit, was the first one was admitted in the SS1. So that first year he was admitted to SS1. No, SS2. Yeah, SS2. That first year he was admitted to SS2. They were surprised as to, and he was nominated as a senior prefect, assistant senior prefect, which means assistant head boy. And this is someone that just comes in the middle, not in the middle of, senior years. They were able to integrate into the system, with their peers. They were serious-minded, they were focused, and they took education seriously as well as sports, and they were well-rounded. So they were able to integrate quickly. And what I would say played a role into that is the Christian background. Because when they were much younger, sometimes I wouldn't want to take all four of them shopping, because, you should always have, your children taken care of. There should always be someone watching over them.
Okay. I lost the contact. I lost connection with her. Do it a call back is a discussion today, and we're talking about developing the next generation leaders. We want to start from the basis, as she said, talking about, giving examples and instances like our own children. And she's still talking when we have a disconnect. Okay, so looking forward to be able to join with Prince Aqua Chief from Cali, USA, and King Remy, if he's going to join us. I don't know. It's time, quite busy people, but, if they can. And Fortunature's Hugo Davy is also going to join us, but I'm looking at how I can set this on. So waiting for them to join. I would like us to have a good conversation at the same time, so we can have a level, profound, level play field. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Lagos, and all of our listeners. My name is
Hold on. Let me.
Davi, all the way from Margo.
Okay. So
Good
you're
evening,
good.
Ryan.
Yes. Good evening to you. I know you don't have time, and
Okay.
but I just want to take a little part of you today. You were supposed
Okay.
to be. You were supposed to be with us on a show, and we're having
Exactly.
a little of connection problem. But then, what's your take on this developing the next generation leaders? Do you think the Gen Zs can do better than the past leaders or the present leaders? Do you think our parents are doing well, instilling the leadership roles and qualities in our children? Do you think they're doing well? The parents are doing well. What are the disadvantages? And of course, however, I don't want to get too deep, but no, what do you say about this thing? I mean, about the topic of tonight. Just flow.
Okay. Personally, I just think there's no doubt our tomorrow will always be better than yesterday. And in my place, from where I come from, it's always good to say that a child will always be better than the father or the mother. Okay, so I submit that definitely there's no doubt the Gen Z should be better than the old school people. Okay.
You think so?
That's what it has to be. So our job now is to be able to catch them young, prepare the Gen Z right now to be able to take up the challenges of tomorrow. Okay? But then we also need to look at where we are coming from. I heard Mrs. Kenny talk about it, where we have to, every parent can actually correct a child, punish or whatever, even when the mother or the father isn't around. Okay? We need to look at that. We also need to look at where we are today, where it's actually hard for you. You can't even, a teacher can't even, punish a student. That's a problem. And we also have some things that are also frustrating the texture of the old school people. Okay? Then where we are going to, because with the way things are going, the future has something like AI in it. Okay? No, but then a child is born. You can also look at the development of this child from the cradle, the upbringing, the family, the value system of the family. Then we talk about parenting before we look at mentorship and role models. Okay. Now, when a child is born, the first port of call is the family. It's the parents. Then the question that always comes to my mind at this point is, how many of us are actually prepared to be parents? Parents is actually a total different thing. That should be like a school, just like you entering university.
Yeah.
Then spending 3, 4, 5 years. But then we are actually more after wedding, marriages, and we forget about the parenting, which is the cardinal work in marriage. So how many books do our parents read on parenting today? How many of the mothers and fathers will actually go on Google to make research on how maybe just to key in something how to train a 14-year-old or 8-year-old, I'm sure that most of us do train dogs, and we go on Google to search on tips on how to train dogs to obey commands. These are dogs, but most of us do not do it. So I really fault the preparation of parents who are to administer the parenting in Nigeria, personally from my own angle, because you cannot give what you do not have. You need to be well equipped as a father or as a mother to be able to give quality parenting. And trust me, there's no how your product will be different from you. You are as good as what you produce. You cannot be different. Okay? So I will need if I have to suggest to the current generation of parents to do more work in parenting, because definitely at old age, these are the kids that will still come back to take care of you. All right. So, what are the value systems which comes from parenting? This is actually where we get it wrong most of the time. Okay, and these are actually like things that the parents themselves should be able to give out to their kids. Okay, then who is a mentor to the child beyond like the adolescent period? Because then you have stages: dependence, independence, then interdependence, and then codependence. When a child is vulnerable, can't stay on its own, can't do anything by themselves, you depend totally on the parents for everything, for all your needs. Okay? At the point where you are at a developmental stage, like maybe like when you're a teenager, that's actually where the entire molding happens. And this is actually where the parents need to be very, very close to children so that they can open up and learn. Mind you, children learn more of what they see than what they hear. So whatever example the parents are giving, the children are going to be taking it. I'm a dog breeder. So if you can train a dog, you can also work on the psychology of the child to be able to allow the child to be in a particular state or way that you want the child to be. So if you know actions that will prompt a particular result in the child, that is what it should emphasize on. Okay.
All
So
right.
basically, I feel value system, parenting, then beyond this stage of adolescence, I think mentorship will always come in.
Okay,
Role
mentorship.
model. Yeah.
That's
It's a whole lot. Like, this has to be like a discussion or like we have to take a seminar to be able to open all these things up.
now talking about mentoring and coaching. For example, in Nigeria now, that the present leaders do not want to have anything to do with the younger ones.
Yeah.
They do not want to, show some respect to be able to, give way for the younger ones.
Give them a chance.
Exactly, to take over leadership, and that actually leads to certain things that has not been done in our schools. The education system is crazy. Every other thing is crazy, because if they are doing great and they want the next generation leaders, the youth, to take over, they will be able to put things in order. You said something. You said that they will do better than the present and the old. Right? That's what you said.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So with the present of the situation things now, where there is no, in the schools education, we don't have good tech, we don't have, everything is not coming. It's coming definitely from maybe the parents and some individuals or your own self. How are you so sure that they're definitely going to develop a strong leaders in years to come?
Okay. You know what I think? I think at this point, we just have to go for a divergence, a total divergence. And this is what I mean. You don't market a bad product. That's like swimming against the current. Now we've had lots and lots of book of lamentations, people calling and lamenting how Nigeria is. And I really think we need to start looking at a departure from that. And for me, I would prefer we dwell on this, like looking at way forward. Okay, I want, like, personally, if I have to mentor a younger person, this is actually what I need to do. You have to overlook what's on ground, which are the things I refer to where we are right now, which is why you see people who want Japa, or who are into betting and all stuff. I don't want us to, for me, I won't think of going that way. Mine is, how do you move away from this? Like the Bible will say, you're in the world, but you're not of the world. I told my students, I came to earth, I didn't come from earth. You know, it truly a divergence, even though you're here, but you're a different mode. And you are immutable, and nobody can change you. Now, this is what I mean. If the government cannot help you, if the Nigerian society cannot help you, you can help yourself. Now, if you were bent as a child, it's not your fault. No problem. But as an adult, you can unbend your bent nature. So if you don't bend your bent nature, I will have you to blame. If you were poor when you were born, if you were born poor, it's not your fault. But if you die poor, I would say it's your capital fault.
Okay.
I had a discussion because myself and my cousin, I had to create a WhatsApp group for all of my cousins, like all of us. Then I, doing a kind of introduction, one of them actually made a comment I'm out of school, I am unemployed right now, I'm not taking on. I said, no. This mindset has to be worked on, has to be adjusted. And I couldn't rest until I had to leave where I am and I had to look for a cool place to be able to talk to him on that WhatsApp group. And I'm like, I understand you're not employed, but next time if you're communicating with me, I wouldn't want you to refer to yourself as being unemployed. I wouldn't want to hear that from you. The reason is because you can be deployed. Even though you're unemployed, you can be deployed. And these are two different things. You could be employed by someone else, but you yourself, you can't deploy yourself into something. So why are you not doing the one that you can do? So I don't care about the leaders, about the past. I'm saying this is where we are. How do we go from here? So to every young person listening to me, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what has happened. What are you doing with yourself? Have you discovered yourself? What do you have passion in? What's your drive like? Who are your role models?
Hey.
Do you have a plan for your life? Do you have goals you've set? What's your mission? What's your vision? Where are you going to? Then how are you going to start? Start somewhere. Deploy yourself. You could get some skills. You could get mentors. Normally, you should have mentors that take care of different aspects of your life and need attention. Okay? So, do you have mentors? What are you focusing your mind on? Now, I would like to, at this juncture, talk about one of the highest influence I'm seeing amongst young people that which we need to make good use of and be able to tap from. Okay? It's the internet. Then look that one into the handsets on our hands, on our palms, which apparently most of the time tend to domesticate us than us domesticating it. So we are actually most of the time under the control of our handsets. And the question I want to ask every young adult today or young child today, hey, what are you doing when your phone is in front of you? To be honest, most of our kids are being modified by what goes on in their phone, what they see through their phone, or what they see on their phones. And then the brother, too, is satellite TV. The channels, the foreign channels. So these are the major influences that we need to look at, which in my own thinking, there are negative influences, there are also positive influences.
And you think the negative influence is coming from the television and the internet things?
Because they are more graphic, they are more seductive. Even when you don't even wish to indulge, they force you to indulge. And once you're in, it's hard to move away from it. Okay? It's very hard. So, and I'm like, I normally used to think about this, like when I bring up my phone, because maybe it may require a talk for another day. I had talked about that during one of your programs, like when you look at algorithm in computer sector, what it does on the social media, what it does, this is what I mean, very simple term. Now, what you view, the network providers, the service providers are going to link up that and look for things that are related, that are like that, and be able to push more of those things to you. So if you're someone who's disposed for better yourself content, or inspirational content, or educative content, once you bring up your phone, most of the handles that will be popping out to
Of
you
course.
will be handles that are related to what you're doing on your phone.
Of course.
That was why I had to ask, when your phone is in front of you, what are you doing on your phone?
But that is actually based on how they were brought up. That might be, or it should be, how they were brought up. Because if you're always listening to your parents say certain things, and your people are around your environment, your society around you, your brothers or people around you, always saying some negative stuff, you want to, if you have the opportunity, to have an internet-enabled phone, you want to check it on the internet, and then the algorithm will give you all through all of that. So I mean, I think it's from the basic. That's what I'm saying. Is our parents, are they doing well? Because of what I see these days, parents do not care.
It's very, very, very nasty. And at this juncture, I would like to push it this, because I think, I don't know what I think 14 is doing in the hands of like a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 11-year-old, 14-year-old. Personally for me, because I think these are actually like the developmental stages of a child, of a person.
Okay.
And at that point, there are things that you don't need to give a child at a particular stage. Okay? So for parents, and it's because of parents not doing what they're supposed to do, to study parents and how to parent their children. That is why you see misplaced priorities and the wrong value system. Okay? So at what age are you going to give your kid a phone? In the first place, a child who's still coming up at the speed before junior WAEC, I don't know, if not for your assignment, what you should be doing with the phone. Then security issue will come in, maybe you may say parents won't know or speak to the child, know where they are, or maybe what's going on around them, be able to talk to them. Then there are phones you can give them that will just enable communication to unfold between the both of you that are okay. It scares me, Ibrahim, when you give a child all these high graphic phones that most of the time you're not with this kid.
Okay, but it's technology, let's say, is one of those things that can actually enhance the next generation. But
you're right.
But
it depends on how you apply it.
it depends on how. Okay.
Exactly. You explore it, you apply it. The application I was trying to teach is how you apply the use of your phone in the right direction to be able to give you the right results. When you pick your phone and you're doing explicit content, like pornography, to be honest, you're lost.
And
so
that particular one is something that learned from their parents, is somebody close to them. And if the parents allow them, I mean, it's not like the difference between you having a young child of 13 years, grown up, doing these things without, the parents actually trying to punish them.
Okay.
And then when you have the opportunity, to really deal with your, some people say it's better here than America, than UK, than the developed countries, because you have that chance, the opportunity to beat the hell out of your child or your teenage child or your youth, and make them and punish them so that they know exactly what they're doing wrong, and then they can change from it. But upon this, people are actually still sending their boys and their girls alone to go study outside. It's not bad for them to go study outside, but
very true. Very true. Very true. But to be honest, Ibrahim, I think I am talking to the African child. First and foremost, I think that's what I'm here to do, because I think we are different. And we are even better than the whites. I work with the whites. I know how they are wired. Yes.
You can say there are differences. You can say there are a lot of differences, not better. I don't want to believe,
Okay. Let me withdraw that choice of word, because in humanity, no culture is actually superior to the other. because from which reference are you going to like be judging them? Oh, fine. Now, yeah, there are differences, but when I'm talking about differences, I'm looking at what side do we still have hope of recovery? Okay, I think an African child is still at the virgin stage that he can be discovered and recovered.
Okay, now
Than someone there.
I like the fact that you mentioned this. Our leaders now that are misbehaving, putting us in jeopardy, causing chaos, destroying lives because of their crazy policies and government and all the things that they do. Not just government, talking about the private sectors, the captains of industries are also copying the same thing these politicians are also doing because they're tied together. Are they not from teenagers, from parents? Are they not the same African family, Nigerian, grow up from when they were a little kid until when they were grown? It's the same passage, the same part they took. How come are they not doing well now? The leaders actually started from small. They were once kids, they grew up to be teenagers, toddlers, and they become, youth and become an adult. How come they are not, exploding and sharing such good, what word will I use now?
Values.
Because it's reflecting, everything is showing in their ways of behavior. So if they were to be good and here was to be a better place than the other side, and the African child here is supposed to be better with good attitude, why are they not reflecting that in governance, in their leadership role, in the opportunity to have, it doesn't make any sense. For me,
I think I heard Mrs. Kenny talk about, she used the word expose. Okay? From where I schooled, I did Latin in school. Okay? And I was taught that education came from the Latin word, educo educare, educavi educatum, which simply means to enlighten, light, just to introduce light. If I link that to the choice of word of Mrs. Kenny, which is exposure, okay, you will discover that what Africa is suffering from is a kind of lack of light, illumination. When people say civilization, I tend to look at it very well, critically and deeply, which I think most people do not, as deep as I do. Because when you say civilization, it's talking about the mind, how expanded, how open you are, the kind of horizon your mind is actually exposed to. An African man is still struggling with things we can call imperialism. Okay? When I say greed, I think I mentioned that these are like very negative value. And when I also use the word seduction when I was referring to pornography, I will also be forced to use the word seduction here. In trying to buttress more on that particular word, greed, which is what is ravaging African society to their leaders. It's not only Nigeria. And it's something that we need to look at and deal with. And when people say, I pass my neighbor, most of the time Nigerians think it's like we're referring to generator. No, that's a mentality.
Okay.
We thrive on a feeling that we are better than the next person. And it's purely wrong. An African man will spend so much money to do a borehole in his own house and get it. And he will be answering Omero or like someone who does for everybody, who's superior to everyone. And the question is, isn't there a way we can start thinking about being individualistic to being collective, like putting everybody into consideration in what we're doing? Like, can't you do that borehole at the village square, with lesser money, which the villagers will contribute little by little When you do it, the borehole in your house, you're using about 1% of it, and the rest of 99% is wasting. And people across your things do not actually have water, okay? But when this is done around the village square, almost all everybody will be engaged. And 99% that you're not using will not be explored and be taken advantage of. So it's a mindset thing. Now, growing up as a child who liked to read a lot, I often hear the white say, black man, black sense. And it's something that makes me feel so sad. But it pains me and it hits me more because most of the time, I wish that's not actually what I'm saying.
Okay.
Our minds are still not yet exposed as the whites. The whites are like, hey, I work with them, I know how they think. We are different from them.
All right.
So I really don't want us to like dwell more on what is spoiled already. I am asking for a divergence from the young generation right now. To be honest, if you want to listen to talks about Book of Lamentation or whatever, there are shows even on VP where you can call and you hear people complain all the time.
Okay.
Let's use this one to drive a positive change and vibe and frequency where I always like to thrive on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hugo Davis, I appreciate you for your time. Let me give the opportunity to others. Possibly I'm going to open the phone lines to anybody who wants to talk about this.
Awesome.
And then I still have other guests. Yes, we didn't really put this together, the usual thing. But then, of course...
It's all jealous. How do you communicate to the young generations who are listening to us? I hope you all had your pen and your jotter. I hope you can put down things that can spice up your life. Variety is the spice of life.
Right.
Deploy yourself. Do not wait to be employed.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And have a great night rest.
All right, you too. Fortunatus Hugo Davis is a coach, mentor, and a life coach. He is into so many things, including tech. He's one of our callers, one of our friends. I decided to want to bring a lot of us to talk about this issue, and let me hear different perspective, from their own angle. And I appreciate the fact that he has done justice to that. But let's go back to Mrs. Kenny. Mrs. Kenny, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Welcome on board. What happened? Why did you chicken out?
Raheem, you know that I have a number, and it appears that you don't know the other number. Because I've been calling since.
Oh, so sorry about that.
That's it. Yeah, so that's what happened. So so I now have to go back and reload a lot of credit on this one.
Oh, well, I would have been the one to call you, but thank you for calling.
That's okay.
Right.
I don't mind if you just keep me on hold and talk to other people because it's kind of a challenge going through.
No problem. No, you don't have any problem. Just go ahead and
okay.
Do justice.
Go ahead and say what I wanted to say.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So I was saying that when they were little, just doing a case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So I went grocery shopping with a lot of kids. But before I went out, we were in they call it one store, just a duplex, right? So I told the older one, stay right here in the formal living room and do not pass this threshold. And I told the younger one, stay here in the family den.
You're breaking and okay. Let me be the one to put that in order. I think I need to put that in order. Okay. Mrs. Kenny, I'll be the one to, maybe I should be the one to put this in order. Okay. All right. So, we're still talking about, developing the next generation leaders. And I've had Hugo Davis talk Some of the people are actually are trying to hook up to it. Let's see if we can actually get them on. Right here is Mrs. Kenny, who was talking to us, but I think the line actually was having issues. So I'm going to look for a way to get her back this time. It will be different. I'm looking for another best way so she can finish what she started. What is that thing that she wants to talk about that is very important that the youths out there can learn from? The youths are the leaders of tomorrow, might be today. So I'm going to call her back by my own self, and then we're going to put her on. Okay. So, Mrs. Kenny, if you're listening, I'm calling you right now. So you're going to have...
Yeah, I already picked the number.
Oh, nice. I think it's Clara. So let me save you. Let me save your Slack, So let's see if it doesn't work perfectly well, then I know that something is wrong somewhere. All right.
Okay. So, long story short, so I put one in the formal living room, and the door exits right to the front of the house. And I put the second one then close to where the kitchen is and the breakfast nook. And that one exits into the garage. So I entered the garage and, pulled out, and we left with my last two children do grocery shopping and shut the garage door, of course. On coming back, I pulled out the instructions I had given them. So on coming back, I came in through the garage door, and I only saw the younger one in the family den. And he came to help upload the grocery from the trunk of the car. And I said, "Where's your older brother?" And the thing he said to me was so outstanding, it blew my mind. He said, "Mom, do you want him to die?" I was like, "Die? What? What happened?" He said, "You said that he should not cross this line." So I'm sure that we had been going to church and we had conversations about the Bible on your father and mother so that your days would be long. So it was inculcated in them. So I came in with the grocery I was carrying. We came in and the older one was still there. But guess what? He was playing. He was pointing. He was, using his pointing finger and just playing at the threshold where I said, "Don't cross." He was playing there and dancing, and joking around. So I said, "Okay, you can cross." And he crossed over and came and helped with the grocery shopping. So the Bible says, train your children, and they will not depart from it. So when we start at a young age and we start training them, the ways of the Lord, telling them the Bible, teaching them the Word and actually living the Word, they will inculcate it. Now, fast forward to coming back to Nigeria. So when we came back to Nigeria and he was the assistant head boy, the next year he was in, SS3, and so he was doing his YS. And his younger brother, crossed over by the time. Subsequently, his younger brother was the head boy of the school also. And these are brand new children in a brand new environment, and they were able to integrate and were accepted by their peers. So now, this is where I'm going with this. During YS, some of the invigilators came to help them cheat, trying to give them the answers to the question. And this is an expensive call. It was, in those days, a 6-digit figure school fee per term for. We were paying $200K a term for that school. So they were trying to give them the answers to the questions to YS. And my son was like, "What? Wait. What is going on?" He confronted the invigilator. And the invigilator was embarrassed and had to stop. So what am I saying? When you train your children with the right ethics, with the right values, they would not depart from it no matter what. So I heard what David was saying. A number of things, resonate. I also want to say, we as parents should also give our children room to exercise and express themselves. Now, in reference to technology, when they were little, what we did was a reward system. My children were honor roll students, And how did we get them to be honor roll students? Of course, God had a factor in it, but we also did a reward system. So from the beginning of the school term, every day when I dropped them off at school, I would tell them, focus, pay attention, concentrate, and do your best work.
All right, Mrs. Kenny, it sounds to me that you took your time to be able to, grow your kids, taught them a lot of stuff, taught them how to behave, and you instill a lot of, stuff in them. Okay, values, exactly. But let's move away from your own kid and children, because I know they're doing great. Let's look at the other children, like your neighbor's children, your neighbor's teenager or teen, the youths of today. Majority of the youth today are actually involved in so many things. If it's not drugs, colos, mini, marijuana, different kind of stuff that they have names for that I do not even know. They're into so many wayward life, projecting some, criminal tendencies, and to me, it looks as if the leadership is actually in a gog. If we're talking about developing the next generation leaders, do you think that what we are seeing now, this our Gen Zs and even some of the millennials can do better in leadership than the ones that are there now who has failed us?
There is hope. And this is where the village aspect component of training a child comes in. So this is where I would say, I'm just, me, I like to provide solutions. So what I would say with reference to the Gen Z, wayward children, children that are miscreants right now in society, I want you to know and everyone to know that there's no one child that was born and despite that, their future ambition is to have a bad reputation. No one decides to be a failure. And no one decides to be a bad example or role model. Once a child starts, demonstrating those negative attributes, they're actually crying out for attention. So the way I would say is to mold that behavior, it even reminds me also of a project I ran over there, and it was called character traits, where you inculcate the appropriate characters to children. So take, for instance, those children some people call them unlovable children. Some people like to call them, bad eggs, and they try to relegate them, into obscurity. No. What I would say you do is, number one, of course, a bad egg, would spoil the whole bunch. A bad apple, rather, would spoil the whole bunch. But what you want to do is have a one-on-one with them. Tell them the truth about them. So take, for instance, if there's someone that was getting in trouble and he beats people up and he's strong, the first compliment you're going to tell that you're a strong man. You've already said a positive thing, one positive thing into his life. And that will bring down the guard. It would make him relax to start listening to you. And if, when you tell him that you're strong, and he somehow cracks a smile or busts off himself, flexes his muscle, you tell him, where do you train? Do you build, say positive things first. My background is to give positive affirmation, then you give the constructive criticism, and then you end up with a positive confession. So that positive affirmation is what you actually notice about a child. There's no one you flatter that they don't know you're flattering them. You need to tell the truth. So you tell them the truth. Oh, you're a strong young man, and he flexes his muscle a little bit. Oh, did you build? You say that positive aspect. And then when you've gotten him to you've gotten his attention at that point, and you now talk to him. Not from a typing perspective. You're going to tell him, how do you think? So you ask him open questions that you want him to say and proffer solutions to what happened. How do you think you can avoid so and so? You might come back and say, people are always looking for my trouble. People are always calling me names. So you will push the responsibility to the other people. At that point, you will come back and say, okay, we don't have control over what people do. So for you, what do you think that you can do in order to have a more positive outcome? If the person back again, at this point, when you start having this conversation, the person is getting more and more comfortable with you because you're not accusing the person. As a matter of fact, the person's mind is like, this person really understands what I'm going through. So you get the person to a point whereby at least one matter can be resolved. Okay, yeah, maybe when he shouted at me and I got really mad, maybe I should have moved out of that environment. You just recorded the steps right there. So you've already taught that child one thing, self-control, and taking charge of their environment, their emotions, and what they allow within their sphere of influence, an environment. So you've empowered that child then. So at that point, you also talk about, okay, when you move yourself out of there, you want to make sure you move yourself out without, attracting attention. You're not going to say without attracting negative attention. You just say without attracting attention because you're a strong guy and you want people to respect you. So right there, you're continuing to affirm the positive thing you have already mentioned about that person. You are already initiating a paradigm shift in that child or youth mind. So I'm still within the constructive feedback. And if you look at it, the positive affirmation is saying what is true about the person. And the constructive feedback doesn't have to come with shouting and raising of your voice. As a matter of fact, when somebody is correcting you and they speak in a low voice, it can send chills down your spine. Very good cops outside the country, especially in America, those really good ones, when they meet a hardened criminal, they will shout. They will speak in a calm voice and tell you what they will do to you if you do not cooperate.
Okay.
And then they'll confirm that you understand what they're saying.
All
Once
right.
your voice rises up, it means that you that is giving that feedback is actually threatened by that other person. That you don't feel confident that you have control and authority. Okay? Then, once you successfully gotten the constructive feedback part and you've gotten them to admit to certain things and what they can do to improve the outcome in order to prevent a repeat performance, it is at that point that you can introduce different things they can do. At any time they record this kind of success, you can even come from the angle, hey, do you keep a journal? And the person might say, no, I don't keep a journal. Well, you can tell them a little story. Well, when I was small, I used to, when I was younger, just about your age, I used to keep a journal, and I would record all my successes in that journal. And when my little kid, my little brother was a pain, you bring in a personal story that will resonate with the person and tell them how you overcame a certain situation and then you went back and journal that success. So you're teaching them how to journal their success. And when they write it down, there's a connection between learning and writing. So when they write it down and they go back and revisit it, they can repeat it.
Okay.
So after that is done, then you actually tell them, well, you didn't do badly at all. I mean, see how we had a good time, holding the conversation. Feel free to talk to me at any time if you want to exchange phone numbers or contact whatever. And you give the person a high five. So you concluded that conversation of constructive feedback, effective communication.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, really, in terms of how we can migrate the miscreants of today.
Okay. I know you got a lot of details, little details, and every open case. Yeah. But in 1 minute or in less than that, finally, how do you think the young generation, the next generation leaders can be prepared? I just want you to say something in 1 minute.
Absolutely. I think the next generation can be prepared by, number one, they should have confidence that they don't always have to know someone who has done something exactly what they want to achieve. They should just believe in themselves. There's a song that says, I'm just going to wrap it up with that song. I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I can get to where I want to be. You know that song, right?
Okay, yes, I know. That's NASA.
Yeah, absolutely. So they have total control over where they're going. They should work hard at it, do the research, and they will get there with a positive attitude.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mrs. Kenny. Although maybe next time we're gonna make sure that your the lines are very clear, because it wasn't too very clear, but at least we got 95 or 99% of what you're saying. It wasn't too clear, and but it was good. It was good. I got all that you said, and then thank you so much for dropping that. Mrs. Kenny, I know that you are a problem solver, and you are good, and I know about that, and I can see it around your people. I've seen your kids growing up, and not seen a one-on-one, but I've actually seen things, and so I know that you know exactly what you're talking about. And I appreciate you so much for your, perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise. Good job, Ryan.
Okay. All right. Okay. It's 6 minutes gone past the hour of 11 o'clock. At the top of the hour is 11 o'clock, 6 minutes. And I am not happy that I couldn't get all of the people that are supposed to be here, but maybe some other time we're going to take charge on that. There are too many things that are involved when you talk about developing, the next generation. When you're talking about that, you consider why it's very important to develop leaders, which is the youth, the future leaders. Why it's so important to have skills to do the future leaders need. What skills do they need? Why is it important to have strategy to be able to invest in multifaceted development programs for the youths, the leaders? It's important to involve team members of decision making as a skill in their lives. How do they do that when the country is somehow? Some parents might say, okay, they want to take the opportunity and make sure that they come on strong with your kids, and they'll make sure that they do everything. One of those things that we do is for us to be able to send our kids out of the country to go study in developed countries, and which we feel so much in this part of the world that is the best thing to do, so you can get the better education, because they here you might not be able to get that because of the injury cursed by some leaders, and most of our leaders today. But some of them will go there and they get spoiled even more. Some of them might be here and get better, and things happen. So it's not about sending your kids out to the country to go to the best schools and Harvard University or any other, but it's about so many other things that you definitely will instill in your child to grow to be a great leader and the next generation leaders. There are too many other things that you can do for that to happen. And I'm expecting to talk with some people. I don't know, but I think the time is really gone. If I can get one or twos from you, if you want to contribute, King Remy, you were supposed to be here with us, and Prince Akwachi was supposed to be here with us. Christian, he's supposed to be here with us. We were supposed to have on Google Meet, and have a debate, balance the equations and all of that stuff. But anybody out there want to call me 1 minute, 2 minutes, you want to talk about this real quick and tell me exactly what you think about the developing of the next generation leaders, disadvantages, the advantages. You think they're going to do well? You think they're not doing well? You think the parents are not, it's crazy. Let's see what we got. Hello?
Oh, good evening, boss.
King Remy, I'm angry at you. You're supposed to be here.
I'm sorry, boss.
Okay.
Come on, I'm sorry. It's been a day.
I know.
I'm gonna.
I'm just kidding, though. So,
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. What you're saying something?
Yeah. So we were supposed to talk, and all of us were supposed to bring a different perspective together. What is your take on when we talk about developing the next generation leaders? Seeing that our leaders are not doing well, and these people are very old. How is it possible that this youth of this day, the Gen Zs or the millennials that might be taking over, might do better than the past and the present leaders?
Well, I think the peculiarity of the Nigerian story is the only thing that baffles me. It's the only thing that baffles me. And I'm so sorry for the much younger generation because they do not have the motivation they required to project themselves or to see themselves in leadership position. Now, the era of Awolowo, Z, Amadu Bello, these guys were a bunch of intelligent men who wanted to prove to the colonial masters that black people can do better. Okay? Mm-hmm. And they fought hard to get the independence. Unfortunately, the generation that came after them is the generation I consider as generation of cankerworm and parasites that just wanted self-wealth, wealth, and acquire everything. They came with bread mentality and porridge mindset. They want to live luxury. They don't care about legacy. So my generation, the millennials, we see those generations, and a lot of the millennials too are corrupt because this guy that vowed to make somebody disappear, that member of National Assembly, is 44 years old.
Can you imagine that?
So it's just, I mean, yeah, I'm not that old, but it's just in my head bracket.
Exactly.
So Nigeria needs, we have got a long way to go as a people. The best way to start, as I shut up, is we need to bring back the concept of moral principle. Moral principle is my ability to pursue success. However, in this ability, I must think of, okay, I am pursuing this success. Is there anyone that could die as a result of this pursuit? Would this, my personal ambition, affect Ryan? Will it affect Mrs. Ken? Will it affect Christian Akuchinyere? If the answer is yes, I will just stop and say, no, I'm not going to pursue my personal good at the expense of other people's life.
Exactly.
That is exactly what we do not have now. It's moral principle that we do not have because people believe if they are not feeling pain, whoever is feeling pain is none of their business. If the Northerners are crying, we the South, we are cool. Anyway, it is their problem. Let them face it. Oh, if there's something in the East, oh, it is their problem. Igbo people problem. Let them face it. Oh, something has happened to the Yoruba people. It is Yoruba. Oh, yeah, Yoruba. Let them face it. Until we bring back that sense of responsibility, ownership, leadership, moral principle. However, Rhyme, my hope, my strength is that there are still many, many Nigerians who will never compromise a thing for what they believe.
Yes.
They are there. There are still many, many students at university who will rather abandon their years of studying than having any lecturer to enter their skirt and do them like no, there are people with integrity in that country, but unfortunately those people are not as popular as the criminals.
Exactly.
So maybe you are bosses in the media, you need to help us. They are there. I know people personally that they are not my family member, they are not my friends, but what they have done, I can sell them my trust. That's where we are. But unfortunately, young people have it tough right now because the people that they should see as a role model, a lot of them have criminal cases.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. But before you go, 1 minute. Okay. Okay. All right. He's gone. Christian is want to join us, and I'm also waiting for Prince Akwachi also to join us. And just real quick, maybe 5 minutes, Christian, welcome on the show.
Hey, Raheem, thanks. Hi, good evening.
I know how your work is quite hectic for you, and I understand that. But I can't do this all alone when you guys are there. So we need to do it all together. So what is your take? What would you say where the youths, some are not, some are complaining. Let me bring it in a different perspective. Some are complaining the system is bad. Nothing is working out there. It's affecting their education. It's affecting they can't do better. So it's hard for some of them to be able to, acquire that leadership skills and get to the leadership position. Of course, you know how it is in the country. And then it's better when, a black guy or a black woman travels out of the country. They do better. They school better. They come out with AAAs, first class, at the best in their cars, in their school, and they do better in anything and everything. The whole world knows the Nigerians, wherever they go, they show up. And what's the other word after showing up? So, what is your take? Literally 5 minutes or less than that.
Okay, why they go outside and get better than?
Yeah,
right?
I'm just trying to bring a different angle for you to speak based on what we are talking about tonight, which is the developing the next generation leaders. Is it working? Are the generation leaders that we have now, which is the youth, are they going to be better than the ones we have now that has failed us? Are we doing well? As parents, are we even doing well grooming leadership skills with the younger ones that are growing to be the leaders of tomorrow? I'm just that different angles to it. I don't know where you want to start. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start with the first one. So why we go out there and do better, it has to do with the environment. Our educational system has failed us, actually. Some of us who read what we read in school, getting outside school, we didn't focus on that. We moved with our own passion. I mean, someone like myself, reading business admin in school, and I'm out as an IT consultant, totally different field entirely. So our school has failed us, and the reason why we do well is where we get to a system quite different from ours that is well structured. We tend to do well because of how tough we've been raised here. I don't know how some lecturers see us. I've lectured before, Raheem, when I was serving, and when I was taking some of these students, they really hated me, and that's because someone like me, I like to learn from the ground up. If you give me any tasks now, I like to start from the ground up. I don't like to learn from the middle, from the top. I try to understand the underlying basis of the structure before I now move to the top. And that's how I was teaching a class of 400 students. And they really disliked me because I was so tough on them, and that was ND1. So guess what? When they got to HND1, I was no longer their lecturer at that point in time. When they got there, they were not looking for me. I'd left already. They were not looking for me, telling me, Madam Christian, nothing you were teaching us that time. I was so sorry, blah, 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 blah. Because I was trying to instill a structure in them. Guess what, Raheem? I did my lesson notes for the class. I can't forget, 35 pages. My senior lecturer said it was too much for them. He said, okay, I now downsized to 30. He said it is too much. So they will not read. I downsized it to 15. He said they will not read. This thing is too much. I downsized the handout to 10 pages. He now said, they will read this one. Do you understand that?
Why? Because it was a voluptuous stuff, or is it that it was too long for
service? Yeah, it was too long. So imagine you're putting a word out, you're putting the definition, the characteristics, the pros and the cons. So a 10-page handout for one semester, it is barely nothing. It was in a note, it's barely nothing. Do you understand? So imagine a child growing up in such an environment And me coming from where I'm coming from, I'm trying to instill discipline in terms of you can be better than 10 pages. They really forced me. It was when they got to HND1, they now realized that, oh, okay, this was what Madam Christie was trying to teach us. And I was so young that time, so they were older than me, as it were, but I knew what I was doing. So if such individuals, move to a new environment, they will tend to do better. And again, it has to do with the foundation. Do you understand? Like for instance, I have a value system in terms of learning. Whatever you give me to learn, I will learn from the ground up. I don't care where I am. That is how I'm able to understand the basics of things. Do you understand that? So environment plays a very, very key role. We have, I have friends like that, because when I got into school, uni, I was quite playful. You know what changed me in uni, Raheem? It was two friends I had. I can't forget their name, Femi and Simone, the both of them. Because I would see the way they would go to class, they would read. I would just be in my room, read a bit, sleep off. When I got to 200 level, I became a reading animal. Even the two of them were surprised because I saw something I could model my life after. So that's what the environment does for you. So in terms of raising the next leaders, honestly, this set of people we have now cannot lead us anywhere. This Gen Zs cannot in any way. I've thought about this. Like if I was the one now, like the way I am now, to start breeding the next set of leaders, I will start from the villages. I will start from children who are 2, 3. That is where you start from. 2, 3, 4, within that range. Do you see how diligent the Japanese are?
Mm-hmm.
Go and study their educational system. They are very disciplined.
I get a lot.
You get that even as a child. So you ask yourself, is the system? So they build a value system. In the way Japan is, if you put your phone on, let me say at the library, for instance, and you forget at the library, if someone else comes in, if you come the next day, so I forgot my phone. I forgot my phone. I read after reading the previous day. You see my phone, Raheem. You will see your phone still in that library.
Of course. Of course.
You see your phone still in that library. Why? The value system. No, try it now. Just drop your phone, Raheem. Just step outside and drop it at the booker.
It's not my phone.
It's gone.
Man.
I'm
not
so
doing
it
that.
Has to do.
I've lost 2 expensive phones. Very expensive phones. Very.
So you see what I'm saying? So it has to do with our value system. So you have to teach this thing from a very, very little age. Very, very, from 2, 3. Begin to teach. See, our lives there, I don't understand our country sometimes. We are meant to look at what other countries are doing and pick the good things from them. These ones we have now, right? Forget about it. It's like saying you're going to a school in Nigeria, a uni, and you're looking for a virgin. I'm gonna be serious now. Are you guys kidding me?
Yeah, of course. I've seen a virgin from.
No, you might find, but like saying, okay, look for 20 virgins.
No.
In Unilag.
No,
bro. I
and you were specific about that. I mean, like,
no, it's a joke. No, it's a joke actually. Because there was a joke then. The guy wanted money, and the Babalawo now said, okay, for this thing to work, go to Unilag and bring one virgin girl from Unilag. The guy was like, Baba, what are you saying now? Are you joking? Why would I see virgin in Unilag? It's just a joke. So my point basically is we need to start from if I was the one, I'll go to the villages. I'll go to the nursery schools. This is where you begin to teach value system. When I was in school, in uni, it was so bad. I couldn't put one penny upon another. I had ladies who wanted to buy handouts for me. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Because I knew the implication of that later on in examination hall. Right, I declined. I couldn't buy my own handouts. I was borrowing handouts to read. You understand? And I could call my parents to get money, but I've always been self-reliant as a human being. So that value system. I remember when I was reading one time in school, I came out from the hall, then I just saw someone charging, like you're charging a phone outside. There was nobody there. In my mind, I was like, who will be charging a phone in a school premises where students are? And you're not even looking after the phone. You know what, Raheem? I literally sat down close to that phone for close to about 2 hours, hoping that person will come. And when the person came, I spoke to him, "Why would you do this?" And I left because my conscience would not let me. I can take that phone and I will go. The guy would not know. It was just in the open space. What am I talking about? Is a value system. My parents told me then that the Nigeria of then, when you buy something, even if the person selling is not there, if the person is not there, you can pick that item. It could be bread. You can pick that item and put the value of that money on the table and walk away. That was the Nigeria my parents grew in. You can see how much we have degenerated in this country. You can try that now.
Okay.
So this generation we have, we don't have leaders here. Go to the grassroots. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start teaching them from there. That's just it.
All right. You've already said it all, so let me let you be. I'm gonna give an opportunity to others. Thank you, Christian, for being my guest tonight. All right. It's okay. Hello. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Big Prince calling, Raheem.
Big Prince. Oh, I couldn't get you to be my guest today. Thank God you're calling. And anyway, you heard what we were talking about.
I was just coming in now. I heard all you people are saying.
All right. Can we go?
I just want to say one or two things in a very short sentence.
Please do.
I don't want to waste your time. Listen, all is all about value, maturity, and the environment. The value system of our country has, in fact, gone into peace. Why do I say that? It's not even easy for you to go in there and see a child or a youth standing to there to say he is hoping for, or he is waiting for, or he will exercise his patience to go through what they have instructed him to do. What do you talk or what do you say about corruption? Corruption is the opposite of civilization. If a city is corrupt, that city is bound not to see development. When you are talking about civilization is not all about building skyscraper, these bridges, railway, or doing one thing or the other that will attract the investors. The first thing that will attract the investors is all about abiding by the rules, regulation of that particular city, or that particular state, or that particular nation. That is what will make people to look into what you have. If you don't have a clean state, you cannot have people who will be interested in to be in that particular state. Let me give you an example. When I was coming out from village, my grandfather told me something. He's a colonel, he's a retired colonel. He told me something. He said, the car I am going to drive, the Oyibos never start molding the knot. So you must have to be very patient and know that there is nothing that comes out of the corner pot. Everything that comes out of the corner pot enters corner mouth, and you will not be satisfied with it. I said, what do you mean by that? He went into the kitchen, got out a pot, used his longest finger, strike the corner of the pot, put it to the corner mouth. And after doing it, he said, do you know what I saw through this, what I tested through this? It is very, very sweet for you to get anything from the corner pot, but it cannot satisfy you. Therefore, what that did not belong to you, don't take it. Mr. Rahim, let me tell you the truth. I know the battles and things we have been setting here
Because sometimes whenever you say things that are good, things that are supposed to play in accordingly as it's supposed to be in the ordinances, they don't want to take it. Even in my circular office as I'm talking to you. Even when you want to showcase yourself as you know practically how to do it, go according to how the ordinances of the things are in the office. At the long run, when you are expecting for promotion, you will hear that a big man, a big bull from Abuja had a slot, and he appointed one or two persons to come and mastermind somebody who has been suffering over more than 10 years in clean and a genuine way to make sure that he changes his environment and his office for a better nation. That is actually what we are seeing. Slots from political gangsters, slots from the governors, slots from party members. Before you know it, the person that they put on top of you doesn't really know how to play the card. And you begin to lecture the person. You can imagine. You will send me to go and arrest somebody, and when I arrest the person, Paul will come from Abuja. What is the essence of me wasting my effort, putting my effort to arrest, putting my time, sleepless day and night, to make an effort to sanitize evil in the system? Now, let's come to education. When you are talking about education, you see so many people today are answering doctor this, doctor that. Ask them where they went to and which kind of statistics they are using. Our nation have sink into Bermuda Triangle. As I'm telling you, it is only for us to start and regrooming children between the age of 3 years, 4 years, to see whether we can have a better generation. As I'm talking to you, our nation has sunk into Bermuda Triangle. I don't want to waste my time. Had it been I know this, I could have prepared myself and answer you duly up to 30 minutes for you to understand.
Anyway, up to 30
we are
minutes.
thinking.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that you talked about Bermuda Triangle. That's a very typical evil place. Anyway, thank you so much, Big Prince. I appreciate it. Okay, my time is fast spent. I was not expecting. I was not expecting to. I was not expecting to have it this way. I was expecting to do it differently, but let me see if I can still pick one or two calls and then we'll.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening to you. What's your name?
I love your job this night. This is Mr. Monday from Lagos.
Monday. So
yes.
Where's Monday calling from?
From Lagos.
Okay, Monday. So Monday, you heard what we were talking about, right?
Yes, I love what the black caller said. And it was like a key word to the world to listen to and have a change and have a better place. You see, I said something last time that evil communication corrupt good manners. The cabal in the inside room, in the other chambers, does not want the youth to come up. That is the problem of this world. Because the truth is bitter. I wish we can abide our law like the Arabs. We will have a better place. When anybody commits sin, no matter your power, your post, they will hang him or give him a threat or a sack letter or a death warrant. This country will be good. But they love destruction and enjoyment. That is what is making the country that God creates paint it very well that human beings, because of greedy and state control, make the country, they don't want the youth to come up. Yeah, you are talking about the free to this. If the men don't have the fear and accept it and hacking to the truth, the youth will continue and will be rolling like a ball until the judgment day. Thank you very much.
Okay, Monday. Thank you for calling. All right, I think that's going to be it. I wanted to have a roundtable discussion, different perspective, different questions, and but I couldn't get everyone. At least almost everybody actually came in differently, and but it's okay. We still got little of what we wanted to do. Good evening. What's your name?
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Peter from
Peter.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, please, Peter.
First is there are all these lamentations. The solution to everything is leadership recruitment. Whenever you get bad leadership, I think what you say, until you get that angle correct, until that angle is done in a way that whoever the people say you do, then will do, there is nothing you can do about it. All this lamentation will go on. It will continue going on from now to everlasting unless we correct our leadership problem.
Okay, so how do we do that? Because some people are saying that the leadership actually had to start from, from home, and even before the government will start putting things in place. What is your take? How you think it's going to work?
John Maxwell said he said everything rises and falls with the leadership. In this our text now, that it's from up before you can start count down to the lower. So the fact that the bad leadership in the office is affecting everything more than any other one from the lower. So from the up, they were talking about 50%. If you don't get it correct, there is nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do. You know what you're supposed to do. When the factor is money, when the factor is where you come from, when the factor is religion, there is nothing you can do about it. That's the only way. That's the only factor you can look at and handle it objectively and say wherever you come from, provided you are married, provided you have the integrity, provided you can do it. That's the only way. There's not that thing. It's not rocket science. It's very simple. Very simple.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Good night.
All right, Peter. Okay, so thank you. Those who my time is gone, and for those who are sending me messages, we'll not be able to read your messages, and but I want to thank every one of you who cares and sending good message or messages for us. I appreciate you and every one of you who sent me a message here. Thank you so much. And every one of you who have actually spoken, I appreciate you. But let me see if I can pick just one last caller. Hello, what's your name?
Hello, Brian. Good evening.
Good evening to you.
This is Francis.
Francis, can you make it short, please?
Yes, sir. Really, we need a value system, because if you say let's start from the 1, 2, 3, because why? There is no care for the people, because they say and a hungry man is an angry man, and now the government did not value the people. The youth of nowadays, if there is no support of the government, the value in them, it is not going to show up. And just because they did not value the people. They put them in captive. So if there is any good one there, because of there is no love, it's not going to show up. And they did not, that's why, in life today, just because there is no care to the people, let them start from the top, so that the young ones, they are going to benefit, and they are going to be what they want to be in future. So if they did not see any good example, how are they going to make it for better tomorrow? Brian, thank you, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. I want to thank everybody for calling in and being part of the show. I think this will continue. I don't know. Maybe some other time, maybe somewhere else. Maybe you might see it somewhere else and be part of it. But I thank you, every one of you who called in, and I appreciate you. And then those of you listening, and your ears are actually on the ground. I want to say thank you also for listening and giving me your ears. I know for sure, one or two person who have listened to the show who didn't call in will definitely learn one or twos from what we've talked about. And this definitely might change somebody's mind of doing good or taking responsibility, maybe as a parent or as an individual for your own self or somebody close to you, to be able to instill or do what is right to make sure that you meet a particular goal to instill leadership skills on the young people that are growing up. No matter what we're seeing here with our leaders and what's going on, whether they failed us or not, the youth will still move on. The millennials actually will still have to do some great stuff and not to follow their footsteps. The children also, that's where we engaged in involving, parenthood to know exactly to do, because kids of these days is really, it breaks my heart to see it. Too many things are going on. No morals, nothing. So I'm wondering how you're going to get their skills without morals. Because if a leader is in the office, as human office today, without morals, from home, from parents, from the society, from home first, as a child, as a teenager, as a toddler, and grow up to be, an adult, and then giving up the office of, a political office, you will definitely blow up, just exactly as someone says about the House of Rep, the legislator, who actually beat up a taxi driver. And so many other ones that we've actually heard or seen. But the truth is, if you don't have morals, you will misbehave. Just like the same thing that's going on, which I wanted to talk about today, but I refused to do it because I thought that this would be better. And I was listening to a program where a woman was talking about how a so-called pastor raped her. Just like that. Those people who do this kind of stuff are not pastors. They are not men of God. There's something else. Using the name, spoiling the name. And just like the same, as I was saying, and if you are a politician and you don't no morals, you have no morals, and you get to that office, you will misbehave like the others are misbehaving, no matter what. So you will need to go through all of that stuff. And just like, somebody who doesn't have a morals, who get to be a captain of industry, get to be a CEO of a particular organization, you are also going to misbehave no matter what. Even if there's something working way for you at the back, people would notice it. Just like the pastor who raped, young girls who come to seek for help. It is foul play to know that anyone who wants to be a man of God and you don't have morals, they'll just misbehave. These are the things that we see. So you must go through the thing. We've talked about different side of it. It's not enough out of love, but this definitely is going to come up either in a big place or in a small place. Definitely it will be on. If I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. So I appreciate the fact that every one of you called me. We've been able to talk a little, and then you've learned. Or those of you who are listening, or those of you who call, thank you. Raheem is going to come back again tomorrow. It's going to be another day where we're going to learn something until this very beautiful week, as I call the magic week. All right, thank you. And was this Covey? Is it Covey Lucci? Thank you. Fortunators, Hugo Davies. Thank you, Mrs. Kenny. Thank you, King Remy. Thank you, Christiane, and every one of you. Just one person that didn't join us today. I understand it could be one issue. However, God day. We're definitely willing to have you on another show. I appreciate the fact that you are with me today, and I'll see you again tomorrow at the same time, 9:30, for another episode, another discuss. Could be an interview. I'm actually looking forward to have a doctor here who's gonna, let you guys know that there is a new move for IVF. I don't know, but he's got a lot of information to give for you guys, and it's Women's Wednesday tomorrow, so we're going to bring a guy who actually has a lot for women. So take care of yourself, guys, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one. I'm Raheem, and God bless.